Hello, everybody. Welcome to the AT stream where we're talking about the Sanctuary episode of The Mandalorian. We have Blue Bantha Milk Co. And we also have Girls with Sabers, who literally rushed through thick and thin to get to this stream. So welcome everybody to the stream. Hopefully it doesn't crash or anything.
Fast.
I
did too.
And thanks everybody for hanging out.
Oh, hello. Hi.
We have a lot to talk about.
Yes.
Oh, and is the audio good for everybody out there in listener land? Let's hope so.
Hello.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys sound good.
We got a couple of
there we go. We got the people.
I'm buffering.
There we go.
I'm buffering. What is going on?
Oh no. Oh well.
It's I'm just coming back. I'm just coming back in. It's all right. It's all good. Here we are.
It's good on my end. I'm going to close my actual tab of me in the stream and just listen to you guys. And I have the chat open just in case. It looks like we're going into the red a little bit, but we'll see what happens.
Smash the like button.
Smash the like button.
Press the like button.
Let's see. It seems all good, but we'll see what happens. We'll just keep going. So we're talking about the Sanctuary, right, guys? And
oh my god!
And it's like
I can't handle Sweet Pea.
It's like the best.
I have been harboring that all day because no one I work with watches it, except one guy, and he wasn't there today. And I'm just like, I can't handle it.
Did you harass him via text and be like, "Did you watch it? Did you watch it?"
No,
I would have.
No, I did not. But
there's still time.
There is still time. I can't handle it. I can't. The whole Finding Nemo bit
was so
right
good.
in the beginning. It's like, don't touch that boat. Don't you touch that boat. Don't you touch that boat.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about that earlier. That was so funny. You were like, the butt. And I was like, oh yeah, I totally forgot about that scene.
Yep. Oh my god. So good. And the look on his face and his little teeth. I can't.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
I think the strongest thing for me, like before we might nitpick this episode to death, like the funnest thing to me was the music in it. Like the little acoustic guitar bits that were like really light and like it's like it's the motif. It just made me feel like a nice like breeze of summer and stuff like that and chill. And I saw this cool review like saying like, oh wow, this is like the first time we've seen Star Piece. And it was like literally just like droids and humans in harmony, just like farming. And I was like, wow, it like hasn't looked this nice in that way before. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, 2 seconds later, all hell breaks loose. But it's crazy.
It was too calm. I sat there watching it. I'm like, oh, look at that thing with the big long legs that's like helping them farm. And I'm like, this is nice.
Yeah, that thing was pretty neat.
The color palette's beautiful.
Yes.
Yes.
And then I was like, oh yeah, this is going to go south. Something bad's going to happen. And it did.
Yeah, well, what's funny too is knowing this, we were talking about this, like this is like Bryce Dallas Howard's first like little jump into Star Wars land. What I thought was kind of funny for me, beyond like some things I think Emerson Luthien will talk to, was that she got like the Jurassic Park episode where like there was a T-Rex in the forest.
Yeah.
And I was like, did they just like do this on purpose? Which I thought was kind of funny. Like and I really liked what they did with the ATSD. I thought the red eyeballs was nuts.
Yes. I love
like
that was menacing. That was freaky.
Yeah. And there was like
cool.
It looked like there was nobody behind the wheels in there. Like when I freeze framed it, like I didn't see anybody in there. It didn't look like
I didn't either.
I don't know if you could tell, but I couldn't really see those people.
I kind of got a vibe like it was a remote. Like the fact that they'd sort of, what did they do? They ambushed the camp, and then almost in an instant, it was like it powers on. So it was it kind of felt like it was a remote or a security droid kind of style setup or something like that. I was like, because I didn't see anyone in there.
Rad.
Yeah, when she shot it, I didn't see anyone through the lens. So it
was pretty cool though. Like I remember like that was like the one thing in my head. So shocker, I was really hungover today, everybody. Because yesterday was Thanksgiving, where I ate tons of turkey and drank beer. So
wow.
So I woke up like a dummy, and I was like, "Oh, my head hurts," and I'm just gonna watch the Mando. And
at least you didn't have to work.
Yeah, I'm so thankful. I feel bad
that
you guys did have to work. But that, like, when I watched that was like the one thing that, like, I was like, oh, nice. This is waking me back up again, because it was like a slower episode, but it was still like, it was pretty brutal at the end with that thing.
That's why I said
that was pretty cool.
It was a bit of a tonal shift because we're so used to it being on the edge of our seats and very suspenseful. And it was almost like it, it's the title of the episode. It was Sanctuary. So there was a lot more of a moment of breathing in the paradise. It was almost like a space dances with wolves. The wearing soldier has come to the green land.
Guys, I gotta step away from the mic. Talk amongst yourselves.
Yes.
Okay.
Here's 2 topics. Talk amongst yourselves. I love that stuff. But yeah, like, I agree with you. The tonal shifts
was my job.
I would totally agree with that. Like, and there was something too that you I don't know if you just said it. I kind of was trying to catch up with the chat too. But the feminine kind of side of this show was poking through big time. Where, like, this was like the least macho episode in any sense.
God, yeah.
And it was like it reminded me so much of the Western theme of the women bring civilization. That's why they wanted women out in the West, as they believed that the more the wives came out there, the more civilization they would bring to the West. And you see that these women are. I mean, and he's almost pulled that way. I mean, the kid has domesticated him in some ways, but a wife, adding a wife to the mixture would completely make him set aside that ways of being the Mandalorian warrior and basically retire. I mean, that was a word that they used, retirement. And you also have the Calamity Jane representation right there. There's an archetype of kind of the, I don't know if I'm speaking too much Western here.
No, not at all.
More Western.
Jane,
you deep dive into this as hard as you can.
There's a Calamity Jane, Annie Oakley feeling that with the other woman that I feel that in order to survive in the West, and you didn't have a husband, you had to take on the masculine to survive. And there is an old musical called Calamity Jane where all of the men see Calamity as one of them. They see her as a dude bro, like one of the girls that could enter a bar, and it's only when she decides to put on the feminine that people see her as a woman. And I wonder if that's what they're going to do with our lead heroine. That's been
Oh my god, we got a super chat of the stream.
Yay!
Oh my god, Lily M. I don't know what the currency is, but it's 50 Nox, which is almost my name, which is Nick. So I'm going to assume that you meant 50 Nicks. So thank you so much. I'm going to read this out loud. I cannot believe I'm actually catching the most ambitious crossover event live. Yes, this is phase 1 of the AT chat crew, whatever we want to call this, the quadruplets. This is Avengers level stuff. We are going to be fighting crime and wearing spandex from here on out. It's going to be nuts. So welcome to day 1 of this. And thank you for the 50 Nox.
Spandex already?
No, I did not agree with the spandex. Everything.
Well, we also allow sweatpants.
Change now.
We also allow sweatpants too.
It's so uncomfortable. It does not breathe.
Are we going to wear sweats instead? Is that our thing?
No, no. We'll discuss wardrobe.
The Revengers.
After.
That's amazing. But thank you so much for the channel support. I don't know what 50 Nox is, but I love that currency now. NOKs.
I gotta look up what a knock is.
Now I want some gnocchi. That's what I want. Now I want to go into more of a food hangover.
I'm fairly gnostic about gnocchi.
I heard sweatpants.
Yeah,
Donna can wear sweatpants.
we were saying we just got an awesome super chat from Lily M, and she was saying that this is the most ambitious crossover event ever. The 3 channels coming together, and I have to agree.
Because we're the 4 best friends that anyone could have.
It's a Norway krona.
Oh, okay, cool. Listening from Norway. Wow. Nice. Very nice. We're reaching far waters. This is nuts.
Cold, icy waters.
The iciest. Yeah. Which is great because I like ice.
I hate asking this, but what is the the female's name? The one that they just introduced.
Amara, I think, or
Omera?
Cara Dune.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
She was like the
I feel like I should hang my head in a box of shame.
No, honestly, I had to like remember. I couldn't remember half of the new people's names. Or
because
like I don't even remember the name of the villain tribe, like Orkai people. Like they were mentioned somewhere, but I can't remember what they are.
I'm just calling them Uruks.
Yeah,
I'm so bad with names.
they were like super Orkai, right? Like the whole thing to me, I was like, oh, like it's just
Well,
like.
you told me this morning that you got Ewok adventure vibes.
And that, yeah. What are those guys called? Is it Gorax? Or
Yeah.
what were those
I think
dudes
it's
called?
Gora. Oh no.
Yeah.
Hey,
I
what's
got
up,
a
Alec?
vibe from it too.
I'm too tired to look on my phone. That's
I
really
am.
lazy.
Someone
but-
in our chat. Let us know.
Yeah.
I was gonna say though too, what was super. Oh, nice. This stream health is green again. That makes me happy.
Yay.
So there's some people that are having like a hard time with this episode, and I understand why, because I also was kind of like, this is like my least sort of favorite. I don't hate it by any means. I think it's fun to watch, and it was really cool to see this Mandalorian story and these like two women and this kind of tension between like, is he gonna be romantic with Amara or something going on with Cara Dune, which like you're gonna talk to that a little bit, and but like overall it was a tonal shift, like we're saying. But what I loved so much is that this felt like an Ewok adventure movie too, like the adult version of the old Ewok adventure movies.
I heard Emrys talking about Calamity Jane. I was listening on my phone. I had to step away and mute myself, but I was listening along. I loved the Calamity Jane parallel. I also got the vibes that Omera was what Cara would have become if she would not have joined the rebellion.
Ooh.
Interesting.
And I loved seeing that.
Ooh.
I didn't put that
where
together. I didn't think
you have that juxtaposition, and the woman, the widow, daughter, the family of the village, and now you have this Lone Ranger female archetype, and I loved seeing that together. So you have these two women with Jen, and it was I liked that dynamic.
Yeah.
Seeing he could, you know, if he chose those paths, he could be with both of them. If that's
he probably will though. He's
flavor
the
of his tea.
Mando.
But
Let's be honest. Like one thing I keep realizing, I'm like, you know what? This really is following these like classic western-y kind of vibes,
Right.
or like
They
the
definitely
007, you
are.
know.
yes,
And he's gonna be like, I'm a lover. You know, he's gonna be like just going from one to the next. I feel like, you know, breaking hearts. I have a feeling this man will be breaking some hearts.
but it's the age-old tale of the lone gunslinger coming to a town. The woman almost gets him to show his emotional soft side, but yet he has to move on. But there's that first villager who has to do that, and that was Omera. And who knows? He might come back to this place.
I think
it seems he had a real affinity for it, because it reminded him of his village growing up, and then he became a foundling. So who knows? He might come back to it.
How interesting too to find out that like he's not quote unquote a true Mandalorian. If you think about it,
I never thought he was, because he said he was a foundling.
The reason I was curious is because the wardrobe that he wore as like a child kind of looked like the robes that like was like the casual dressing of people of Mandalore. So I was like, maybe they're like an offshoot. But now I'm not even. I have no idea anymore. And I think that's really cool because, again, this could be like a guy thinking it's sort of like not like a Kylo Ren in a sense of like the level of darkness he's willing to contend with, but sort of another guy like that's like wearing a shell. And that's what I thought was so cool about him finally taking off the helmet to eat, which is like an intimate thing.
Yes,
you know,
very.
Like we're finally. It's a weird thing. You don't usually just like watch people eat in movies or anything, and if they're showing that, it's for a specific reason to be like, this guy is human. Like he cares his humanity, and like he's not ready to show it yet, and neither are we. So like here's an intimate moment with him, but we're still not going to show you who like Din Djarin is yet. And then Omara is probably the closest we've gotten to like lifting the curtain, I guess.
But he held her hands back, and I think that's really important. That's what made me really pause and think, okay, he's not that interested in her.
No,
but I was gonna say, sorry, I know other people want to talk, but look at how he took her hands away. It was very personal to reach your hands up and take someone by the wrists and take them down with both hands. It's not like he jerked back or anything. That was a very intimate way of taking her hands away. You see that a lot in romantic films where the woman is reaching up her hands or whatever, and then the guy's like, I can't do this, and he takes her hands, but by the wrists. I thought that was very an intimate moment that you knew he probably, if he wasn't who he was, he would have allowed her to do that. Because technically they were there for a couple weeks. At least that's what I got from the dialogue.
That's the thing that threw me off. About, like, if we were going to talk about a couple of blunders in my head, where like this is the only one where I felt like, oh, like this should have been 2 episodes, because on the one hand, I believe like there is some tension between Cara Dune and the Mandalorian that is supposed to be being set up, but I think it got set up a little too quick.
Yes.
And then I also think what got kind of rushed, and I hate to be negative about stuff in Star Wars because that's all that kind of exists out online right now. But the other thing that I thought was a little rushed was just them enjoying each other's presence. Like after their first little standoff, which was amazing. Like her kicking his ass, like straight up. Like, it was like pretty much an equal standoff at the end. But I honestly think if he was not in his armor, she would have just straight up annihilated him.
Oh, yeah. There's a couple things I wanted to say if we could go back.
Okay. But overall, I was just saying, like the whole like relationship, I think I wish kind of was drawn out between Omara and Cara Dune over 2 episodes, kind of culminating in them all working together, but him still kind of rejecting his like showing his identity yet, or being like vulnerable in that way. I think it would have been, for me, a better payoff.
It's definitely.
But yeah, that's all I have to say.
Emrys, you had something to say?
I was gonna say, yes, it was gentlemanly that he took her wrist, but I think more of an intimate gesture would be to take her hands and held them and then bring them down. To me, a wrist take is almost like a restriction, like a handcuffing. Like I'm not ready, like almost like a pull back. To me, that masking is very much, I think there's a lot of parallels between Kylo Ren and the Mandalorian, like Nick just pointed out, even in the theme. And if you notice the theme in Sanctuary, it's going to a major chord, the Mandalorian theme, when he landed on this planet. There is...
Yeah, what is it called again? Sorgon?
Sorgon, yes. But if you look at... when I was watching the first 3 episodes over and over again to see if I can observe, I thought it was really interesting that you only see him having flashbacks during the armor scene.
Yeah.
And it's almost like that triggers some trauma in him.
Mm-hmm.
Loud, big, explosion-y bangs make him just think of that moment when he lost his folks.
And you think of that's almost like a religious experience for a Mandalorian right there, of getting that armor. And it almost feels like he's strapping that identity on because that has been his self-worth instead of who he is as a person. It's almost like the Mandalorian, that armor, that Beskar, has become almost overwhelmed him and buried him. And in fact, that last arming flashback has him being put into metal and then dust taken over it. So it's almost like his true self has been buried in that costume.
Yeah, he's still encased in that like little bunker.
He's still encased. And so I think just that, I'm not saying that the door is closed on Amara and he will never love her or anything, but to me it is very telling that when Kylo Ren saw Rey, he took that mask off right away. He let the light in.
Well, he was also like, I must let her look at me because look at me
Yeah.
and my
With-
I
pectorals.
just got my hair did. She's got to see it.
I have to be honest. I did see one salty comment about his hair that made me burst out laughing just because of how preposterous it was. And it was like, man, his hair looks like one of those Lego pop-on things that just perfectly pops into the top of his head and it like suctions in. And I was like, that was hilarious. And I know that person was like being a complete like dink, like he was going to like hate town. But I bursted out laughing thinking about that. Just like Kylo putting on this like perfect made wig, and it's just like thunk, and he just like goes about his day.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
Matt, what are your thoughts?
Yes.
Way too quick. It was Game of Thrones level time lapsing.
Yep.
Where like towards those later seasons, everything kind of felt a little paraphrased. I enjoyed it still, but like I think I said offline, like, you know, the second that we see that peaceful camp and you think, oh yeah, something bad's going to happen, my brain just goes, all right, he's going to teach these villagers how to fend for themselves. Cool.
Yeah, like you already knew the whole story.
Yeah,
like, once it happened.
It happened.
Unfolded right away. You know.
Yeah, it didn't sit and kind of stew in the moment long enough for me. I found everything kind of just rushed on. The passage of time wasn't completely clear, so someone has to say it.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't like a visual cue that there was a passage of time. So
Yep.
it was a few weeks from them fighting back. So then I'm like, well, how long did it take for them to do the training montage was so quick, you know, like, so all of that just kind of left me feeling a bit like,
Can I say one thing since we just talked about the training montage? And I can't get it out of my head. It's just a funny.
Even Rocky needs a montage.
It's the funniest.
God, I was just gonna say that.
So when he like hands the gun to Amara, and then she's just like an ace shot. All of a sudden, like she's like do hits the thing like a boss level status. Like she's a first person shooter expert. He just like looks at her and he's just like bow. Bow. I'm just a bachelor. I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna do stuff. This is about to get rated R. He just looked at her like, who is this? I'm sweaty in this armor.
You know exactly how he's looking at her.
It was so good.
This live stream is not for children.
Yeah, we are not COPPA compliant tonight.
You're all thinking pony, right? Like,
yes.
My brain went straight to Wayne's World, and I was just like, swing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, dude.
But like, he's got Beskar all over him, so it's more like ting.
Yeah, dude. He looked at her.
We're not
and he's
worthy. We're not worthy.
Dude, it was so funny.
We're not worthy.
And then the framing of them as silhouettes against the setting sunlight and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was like, man. This guy's gonna get it.
Oh, that lighting was made for 11.
Yeah.
But I just love it. Like, I wonder if Bryce Dallas Howard just like knew that would be a wicked like funny moment. Not like funny on purpose, but like people would be like, oh yeah, he's just like, this is my lady.
But then there's wish that we were getting hour-long episodes, and not because I feel like I feel for an episode like this, I wish it was an hour. The others I felt were actually really good and spot on.
Yeah.
This one, I wish they would have taken it in an hour just to give it that better. Oh my God, Milo, you unplugged my mic. I swear to God.
No, your mic's
okay.
Kit Kat problems.
I wish to slow burn, to really dive a bit deeper into that emotion. I wish they would have had an hour episode for this one.
Think about the first 3 episodes. They kind of form a nice little arc.
They do.
As one thing.
I agree with that.
So it's what, like 30, like not including the credits, it's probably what, like 35 minutes, 29 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think the third episode was what, like 30 something as well.
Yeah.
So like you put that together, that is one nice concise arc that tells a very, very I think nice journey story. This could have done with that. Like we could have had a 30-minute episode of them just getting relaxed. Yeah. And then setting up the end of the relaxation of they're gonna have to do something. And then like that would have brought more tension into the next episode.
Actually, you know what's fascinating about what we were saying? what you're saying just made me visualize what it could have been if like
You're
depending on
thinking of me naked.
well that's
Sorry,
Whoa.
hold on.
Whoa.
I'm killing your
just a
monetization.
bachelor looking for
I'm
a
killing your
partner.
monetization.
But so imagine if instead of us kind of like jumping around between like the Mandalorian and then these like these moments with the village and all this stuff, and then like it kind of was like this scene and this scene and this scene and this scene.
Right.
What I like what in the movies was when they have parallel stories happening at once, and what could have been cool is if both stories parallel like, or both stories climax in this way where it's the first time the ATST bombards the village at the end, and it's like terror, and it's Cara Dune and the Mando getting into their first fight because he doesn't know if she's on a bounty for him, and she doesn't know if he's on a bounty for her. And that's kind of what I originally thought was going to happen anyways, like right in the get-go. But then it was just kind of, boom, we're working together.
Yep.
So I think if they kind of wrote out that like spy tension of like, who is she, who is he, and what's going to happen between them all the way to the end, and then finally figuring out like that they aren't like going to blow each other up. And then it ends with the ATST attacking the village, and we're like, what the heck is going to go on here? And then the next episode begins with them rebuilding and going to help and all that stuff. I think that would have felt better. So
I agree with pacing, but I think maybe they thought the misdirect of having the attention be on Omar and off of Cara would kind of help the audience think that Omar was a love interest when I think it's actually Cara who's the love interest.
Yeah.
Look at how equally matched up they are. They're both warriors, and if having a perfect aim and target is a come on for the Mando, think of what Cara can do. And that first combat scene, they were rhythmically perfect, which in film language, I'm just going to,
Can we just, sorry to interrupt, can we just talk about how when they were ready to blast each other's faces off, then comes Sweet Pea with his little bowl of bone broth, just standing there like a sip. He literally sipped.
Instead of doing like the DJ
so
Jazzy
cute.
Jeff line, like, hey, you want to go get some fried chicken? He's like, hey, you want to go get some soup? And I was like, oh my God, that happened quick.
Exactly. That's what it is.
And that little girl, I was jealous. I was absolutely jealous that she got to hug that creature.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, no, I want to hug Sweet Pea.
Yeah.
I want to hug him.
Yeah.
I can't.
Oh, you know what's funny too? Him facing off that little loth cat.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
Oh my God, yes.
That was one of my favorite
He was
moments.
startled. I wanted to kill that cat.
I'm
Like, no, you don't scare my baby.
But I gotta be honest. At first, I was like, "Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!"
I thought he
That's
was
a
gonna
little
eat it.
cat.
Did you guys see the concept art of Yoda and the loaf cat?
No, I didn't even see that.
Very cool.
You have to look at the very end of the concept art. The loaf cat is the cutest thing ever.
Oh man.
But Baby Yoda is doing a force. A force pull on him, like almost like doing beast taming on him. And I wonder if that was the original concept, and then they decided not to do that. Maybe it made Yoda too powerful. I don't know. Maybe.
Or just too much force. Like maybe they want to like use the force very, very sparingly.
I loved everything that had to happen with Baby. If there's one 10 out of 10 in this episode, it is Baby Yoda. Anything what's happening concerning him, like beginning. When like he's staring at his dad. I'm calling, the Mandalorian is his dad as far as I'm concerned at this point.
Oh, totally.
He's staring at dad, and dad's like, "Stop that! That's not things for you to play with, kid." And he just stares at him, and then he just goes, "Switch!" And then the ship almost like explodes. That was hilarious to me. He just like picks him up. He's just like, "Whatever he calls him a womp rat. I was like, "Oh my God, he loves him." Like this was so funny. But the fact that he just stared at like the Mando before flicking the switch, just like he's just like, whatever.
This is what I love about Jon Favreau is he is taking all of our nostalgia for multiple different, not only within the fandom but outside of the fandom. I saw the chat talking about Seven Samurai. Yep. It was very Seven Samurai, Magnificent Seven in the village. But it's like, oh, if you like westerns, got it. Oh, you're a fan of the OT or the PT or the ST? Oh, I got you. Oh, you're a
Literally.
fan of Disney and Finding Nemo? Got you. And this, that. Oh, RoboCop? Boom. He's going to come out and he's going to rip tear on some stormtroopers. It's like everything. He's pulling from everything, and it's just genius.
It is.
Yeah, he knows. I think if there was a guy that knows how to do the member berry stuff in a manner that like doesn't make you want to like die, I guess, for lack of a way to put it, because like sometimes like someone like I have a hard time with the new Jurassic Park movies, because I'm just like I don't know, it's just too much. But yeah, I don't know, it like that stuff wasn't for me, but like I think this was so tastefully done, because like I've said before, it just feels like you're really taking a camera from in that intro from Tatooine and like just panning left.
Yes.
And like there's the other world happening. Like I think you really perfectly kind of had that happen. But again, it's like you're right. This has literally everything. And that's why I lost my freaking mind when I saw the Lothcat. I was like, what?
Oh no.
Yeah, same.
Like the fact, like, and I'm kind of bummed they didn't do a puppet, but I get that they didn't do a puppet. Like I understand why. Like that would have been pretty tough. It seemed like a combination of maybe like a practical body with like a digitized face, but it's kind of hard to tell.
To maybe be a little bit contrarian to all this, because I'm loving the show, don't get me wrong, but there was a tweet this morning by our mate Adam Garcia over at Wired, and like I think he's spot on. Like I hope that the show doesn't just become a checklist of Western tropes, which it's interesting coming out like, so you know, Star Wars tropes are a thing, like, you know, horror movie tropes, Star Wars tropes, like every genre and franchise has their thing, right? So now we're watching a Star Wars that's kind of using less of its own tropes, but I think because of the setting and the environment and knowing it's Star Wars, it makes the bringing in of other genre tropes for me very, very obvious. And that's the one thing that's kind of make it, and especially after like I went on a Western binge, because you know I spent 6 months of my life playing Red Dead Redemption 2, and then was like I must watch more Westerns. And
I'm literally still playing Red Dead Redemption 2. I will probably never ever finish Red Dead Redemption 2.
It's so good,
and I'm still like on part 2 of Zepho in freaking Jedi Fallen Order, because I'm stuck. I'm stuck solving another puzzle.
Did Red Dead 2 win Game of the Year, or was that just?
No, it nearly did. It lost to God of War, which is a dirty crying shame, because I played God of War after. I was like, it was good.
I'm too much of a noob to give any good guidance on gaming.
Well, so the moral of it for me was like I was watching this thing playing this thing that is this mishmash and kind of like post-Western take on the Western and, like, you know, colonial America and all this stuff, and I was like, okay, I've got to go in and actually see where it's drawing all of its references from. So I started watching these old Westerns. I watched Shane. I watched Shane. I watched what did I watch? I watched like
please tell me you watched the
Dollars
Searchers.
trilogy. Yeah,
I remember watching those for film
Praise
class.
God.
Like, so I watched all these films and I was like, oh, that's that bit, and I can see where they're drawing things from, but now it's just made some of this other stuff that's going on in The Mandalorian very, very obvious to me. And
for anyone who has seen The Searchers, that is one of the best cinematic endings in a Western, where you have John Wayne, spoilers, you have John Wayne coming to the doorway where they finally find... oh my God, I know her name.
No, don't ask me for names. I don't even know.
I have
your
a vague
name
remembrance.
Natalie
of this
Wood's
movie.
character. Anyway, so she comes through, and they're all back, and then you have Laurie Martin coming through the doorway, and he wants to go in, and you can tell he wants to go in, and he's silhouetted in the doorway, and he's just standing there, and then he turns, and he's like, nope, I can't, and then he walks back outside, still kind of silhouetted, but he's just walking away from the house, and then the music is just
ends,
so
right?
wonderful. It is my favorite. I've seen that movie over 100 times.
Wasn't there one too with that same exact guy as like another of the same exact characters? Like he gets shot and he's kind of riding away on his horse, and it's like up to the viewer to like decide if he lives or dies, which I thought was kind of interesting for like the way westerns used to end. Because I remember watching these all when I was in like film studies classes when I was in college. I should probably brush up on my westerns, to be honest, at this point.
Yeah, you got to watch the Dollars trilogy.
Yeah, you were telling me offline. Yeah, like tonight as I do Christmas stuff. Because I'll be putting, I don't know why I'm talking like a German now. Christmas stuff. Tonight as I'm doing Christmas.
Tonight as I do Christmas
Tonight as I do the Christmas stuff, I will put in. Yeah, I don't know why I'm talking like that.
Putting up Christmas trees is a complicated profession.
Wouldn't you agree? What has happened to myself? This is what happens when I take a nap in the middle of the day after having a hangover. Sorry, everybody.
It's of German origin. The only reason we do it is because Prince Albert brought it to England, which brought it to America. Okay, I'm sorry.
But anyways, I have to agree. No, I have to agree that this is getting a little tropey, but I do feel like I do hope, because of the first 3 episodes and this one being what I consider the lull in the season so far, I hope that like this is the only one that kind of is the most obvious. Because I do. What's up?
Oh, Debbie.
What do you call it in like 3-act or 4-act structure? Like, is it the midpoint turn or something like that? Like, what's the actual term for it?
Crap, I should probably know that.
So, The Mandalorian is going to be 8 episodes right now. Like, comparatively, I'm watching The Mandalorian at the same time as I'm watching the morning show or Morning Wars, depending on where you are in the world.
Yeah.
And so they had their big turn bam in the middle, like at episode 5. The Mandalorian seems to have gone through this little bit of a turn, episode 4 as well. So like I feel like whatever is going to happen from here should ramp up. Like something has fundamentally changed here, but it all happened so quickly. I feel like, God, sorry to go back to that. I just
I do agree. I think we all kind of feel
I have
this
to
way.
say, I remember Natalie Wood's character's name. It's Debbie. I just feel so good now. Debbie.
Hello, Debbie.
Don't you know me, Debbie? It's your brother, Mark.
You can't not say Debbie without saying it like, hello, Debbie. You have to say it just weird.
Hello, Debbie.
I kind of sounded like Aaron Neville. I don't know much. Sorry.
But I know, Debbie. But yeah, I have to agree. It's just like, I hope they just, I think maybe what it was for me that made me feel the similar kind of why is this so basic was that I think if it's gonna do the tropes, I think maybe we need to have a little bit more of that mystery vibe around the Empire and the in the Baby Yoda acid thing. Like I think dropping that hard maybe was a little too fast. If we're you know what I mean? Like we're riding high off of that, then it was like a hard dead note off of that.
Given the ending, I think we're gonna have to have something a bit more now, because like that's the thing. He's ready to be like, all right, see you later, kid. I don't want to leave you, but I'm gonna leave you. And I like as soon as he was saying that, I'm like, but bounty hunters, like you can't do that.
I don't think he's ready though.
It.
I don't think he's fully ready. I think
he's not ready, but
I don't think
he was gonna do it.
Right.
That's
right.
Like the type of the reluctant father, and that's going to be his whole monomyth: is finding himself or finding his father, the father that he didn't have.
Yep.
Like Ben Solo. So
it's like through him helping this child, he will find his inner child.
Yes.
And the family is him. He is finding himself because the baby Yoda is very much going to be paralleling his story. Who is this child? What is his origin? Who is his true family? And why is he so special? Because the Force even works through the Mandalorian. Why did the Force protect this boy? Why did the Mandalorians adopt him? There's a reason and purpose for everything. And I also wonder if these episodes are going to be arcs of 3, how the first 3 episodes were tied, the family unit is set. And then I wonder if these 3, 4, 5, and 6 are going to be about the family, the idealistic families, the family units that you see in this galaxy. Like the sanctuary was paradise, and then maybe we're going to see 2 other family units in the next episodes. that are going to give us an idea of what they could experience and maybe a nightmare that they could experience.
Yeah, it's like this could be like, here's a nice family. The next one's like, here's absolute dysfunction or something like that. And he'll like get this opportunity to see like what it could be like depending on where him and his son will end up. But so somebody brought up something interesting, which I haven't heard. And I actually disagree with this if somebody is out there saying something about the writing.
I disagree.
Yeah.
Blasphemer.
Where was it? That people were thinking that it was weak writing. I don't think the writing was weak at all.
Well,
I think it was the editing.
Because they didn't use the Razor Crest against the ATST.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, no. I think the way.
God.
I mean, that's just sort of a preference, I suppose. But strategically, I don't know if that would have made sense for what he was going for. I think visually it would have been cool to see, but I don't think it's bad writing if they have Cara Dune take it out. I mean, Luke Skywalker took out an AT-AT with his lightsaber, so why not just do another cool badass moment and give it to a little lady, Cara Dune, being a badass.
It's against the theme of what Endor stood for. It was the native, it was the natural against the industrial.
Oh, totally.
The natural took the industrial down. If they did it with the razor edge against the ASST, then it'd be industrial versus industrial, and then the whole archetype would fall on itself.
Yeah, I actually really liked that brings me back to the beginning of the episode where I loved like the really funny what I'll call penguin or what are they called? Flamingo droids, as I was calling them. The flamingo droids with those weird legs and like them being completely at peace with people, but like it's a farming community. Like this felt the most dead on like real world Star Wars Peace Village thing like I've ever seen. It felt so real. Like and it didn't what's the word?
Well, it was the industrial taking over the old world farming community.
Yeah, the natural. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, true. So makes the beginning of industry.
Urkai did the same thing. I mean, in those, the Urkai was the industry. You know, remember how Saruman
Saruman.
The TRs, where they're like, oh, industry, and then you go through the bowels of the tower, and you see all the industrial, the weapons, the Urkai being born. It's that whole epic industry.
Does anybody remember what those people were called in this episode? They're like Kuatoan?
Something that starts with help us out, chat.
It was like Kutamines or something ridiculous. But like it was like
remember it was 5 a.m. when I watched this.
Yeah.
Did you stay up?
No, I died last night. Like
we get it at such a good time. Like that's it. We're loving it right now. It's like 7:01 p.m. is when it lands for us. So it's like just chill on a Friday night and watch and eat dinner.
Oh, we got a little bit of a super chat from Misconduct Watch. Thank you so much for the channel support during our live stream and our hangover experience here. We are braving through it. But we have a question.
Not me. I'm healthy.
Well, yeah, you're healthy. You're a smarter person than I.
It's morning time for you.
But yeah, that's interesting. Where'd they get the ATSD, I wonder? I think it's just there was so many just outposts of the Empire all over the freaking galaxy that just got left.
Yeah.
That it just like Rey scavenging whatever she could to build a speeder out of something. Yeah. I think those Clantunians or whatever they're called, like I think those guys just saw that scrap a hunk of junk thing and they made it a remote control car essentially. You know, a death car.
Who's that kid in the Clone Wars series? You know, that he finds all the old, Clone Wars droids and reprograms them to become his servants.
Oh, I don't even
remember.
And
they fan him. Like he just like creates a little world where he can eat grapes and be fed by droids, and they fan him and stuff like that. And
wow, I feel like I should remember this, but I don't.
Space grapes.
Space grapes.
Space grapes actually just made me think of something. So Nick, you raised the point about it kind of feeling the most real world, and there was a little something that made me feel that too, and it was that the things that the farmers are farming are called krill.
Yeah.
And they are just giant blue versions of our krill.
Yep.
Yes.
How do we feel about this? Does that does having a species name something that is our species name sort of like that directly? It's not like, oh, the modern calamari, you know, like it's very, very, very specific. How do we feel about that?
I also get that vibe when he said, "Oh, what the hell."
Yeah, well, actually, I was literally just going to bring that up. I was like, when does Star Wars cross over into it's gotten earthy? And I think I didn't. It didn't really feel that way as much as I did when Poe said "big ass door" in like TLJ. Like that was the only time I really remembered being like, well, that was kind of an awkward phrasing of words in a movie. But hell was the other thing.
Solo says, "I'll see you in hell."
Yeah,
yes.
So, you know.
Like but there's few moments where I think like there's just it's almost like why make up something sometimes for the sake of just novelty when like maybe they can just say Krill and like maybe that's just something that exists across the galaxy or something, you know, because humans
like Holdo
exist,
saying Godspeed. I mean, just all familiar.
I guess if humans exist, then there is potential for Krill to exist. Maybe
a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Maybe this
and
really
if someone can go to a planet and take a Lothcat. Like, if someone can go to Lothal and take a Lothcat, well, they could come to a planet and be like, what are these things?
Very true.
I know, there's so many questions about that Lothcat being like I'm just like, all right, well, somebody's going to Lothal and coming back, and I'm like really waiting for Lothal to become canon, like in the live TV, or not canon, become a location in the live action stuff. So I'm like, we're getting closer.
Oh, right, there are chickens on Endor.
Yeah.
Wait.
So good.
Look at all these chickens.
Oh, wait a second. Let's talk about Endor for a second. Last night, or the night before, I can't remember because I was drunk last night.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Wicket.
Sorry. Yep.
Wicket. Old as hell. Wicket. What? So.
I am so pissed off about that.
Oh, wait. That spoiled you yesterday? No.
No, I saw it. I wanted that to be a surprise.
Well, is it really for the movie, or is this something else that's going on?
I don't know. I would think it's for the movie.
All right.
Like that was all saga stuff.
Holy super chats.
Let me just that's a bummer though that got spoiled. It's so hard to like go into these things fresh, I guess. At this point,
you would just have to step completely away from social media.
I've had to turn off media previews on Twitter.
Well, Thornton, so what are the chances where it becomes Mandalore? Like the Mandalore? Like
or Sweet Pea.
Or do you mean Sweet Pea? I actually think it would be very
No.
You can't cover his face.
I think imagine if he like has a little mask. Oh my god. Him being a Mandalorian would crush my soul in the cutest way.
Oh, Mandalore.
But I mean, also, what a long story.
And Misconduct just did a super chat too. Thank you guys so much for the support. When do you think he'll start getting a crew? I was thinking this at the end of the episode. I'm like, all right, he's got Kuil. He definitely has Carl Weathers, Grief Karga. I think that they're friends still, even though
he shot him in that. You see that in westerns where
trying Thomas Wagner try.
Oh, okay. So the Mandalore. All right. So hold on. Let's get back to that.
He's like the head of the clan. He's like their leader. So what they're saying is, what of a chance he would become the head of the clan itself?
I don't think
that'll happen.
I personally don't think that's
Jinx.
his. Yeah, you owe me a Coke, and I know you're in Australia,
Jinx
but
again.
figure it out. Ship it to me yesterday, because that way it comes my today. Because you're in the future.
You see Jen, and he shot Carl Weathers, but shot him right where he knew the best car was, sitting in his pocket.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering.
That's a nice ambiguous thing though, because like, he could have done it intentionally, or he was in a room full of smoke and maybe he just couldn't see properly.
But I guess
they could easily turn
take it
that.
either way.
I do wonder, is he leadership material? I guess that's the question. Is the Mandalorian that we know right now, if he wouldn't, is there anything in his character that, like, besides it, this episode shows that he has some leadership skills in terms of getting a group of people to work together, but sort of only after it sort of benefits him financially. There hasn't been like, I don't know if I've seen something that's like, yeah, this guy's, if the Mandalore is like the head of the clan, like I don't know much about Mandalorian lore, and I watch Mandalorian nerds to like Nords.
Nords.
Mandalore Nords.
Mandalords.
Hi, Nanu
Mandalore.
Nanu. I watch them to try to like learn more about Mandalorian like lore, and I also will just watch the Clone Wars obsessively when I can. Usually in the morning when I'm kind of tired. So like to me, I'm not sure. I don't think he's gonna go to that like that realm yet. Maybe that's like his overall trajectory through 2 seasons or something. But I feel like it'd be pretty wild for
He'll
him to
build
be
his
like,
own family in this season, I think.
yeah. But I do think he'll be like the leader of a clan, meaning like the leader of his crew, which is what Miss Connick was talking about. Like him, Kuiil, Cara Dune, maybe Carl Weathers. I almost said Carl Winslow. And not for reasons that people are going to accuse me of, just because Carl Winslow's, it's fun to say. Carl Winslow. I was him once for Halloween. Don't ask how. And
I'm so sorry.
yeah. So I think that he's going to have like sort of this crew helping him out, like intergalactically stay protected. I think like he's going to have like this little army of people. So, but I don't know.
My question for you guys is, do you think he was the leader? Because to me, it seemed like Cara was more of the leader.
Absolutely. Go home, Steve. Did I do that? Yeah. I am Jedi Praxis.
Oh my god.
Imagine. Oh my god.
Focus, camp, focus.
Oh my god.
Hey,
Oh my god, stickers.
Wait, stickers and super chats? I don't
now
know,
you
but
can do
Alec,
sticker chat.
Alec and Jenny, thank you guys so much for the channel support. But
Look at it's a
yeah,
little
I
pair
think
with a like, let's get physical.
Is that a pair or an avatar? Oh, it is a pair.
I do need to keep. I do need to start exercising. I gotta be honest. I'm turning into Al Borland, so. But she's totally the leader. I mean, like I said earlier, she straight up kicks his butt.
Yeah.
She would have taken him out and like killed him if he wasn't.
He gets his ass handed to him quite frequently.
Yeah, like
if not for his armor, he'd be long gone.
I don't see him ever teaching the villagers.
Oh, Thornton, I'll get to that in 1 second. Thornton came in with a super chat too. Wow, you guys are so gracious
you see
tonight.
Alec?
Thank you so much. I did see Alec.
Okay.
Yes, I am Jedi Praxis. I've been leaking since February.
Is it Praxis or Paxis?
Is it Praxis or Paxis? Oh, Paxis. I always say Praxis.
Impractical.
I don't know.
Praxical.
I add extra.
Praxicals.
I add extra things to things. But Thornton, I'm with Star Wars Explained. I think it starts out small and then gets to be like large scale. I think we meet it with Bo-Katan. Yeah,
Ooh.
I think something like that
Ooh.
would reignite my feelings from the last 3 episodes that sort of were went away during this one.
Unite the loins.
Yeah, my tenderloins must be united.
I was gonna say Mandalorians.
My Mandalorians. Yeah. That sounds. I'm like, I was like about to start
some
singing
really
some.
nice Mandalorians and some candy.
The Mandalorians.
I wish I had like a slap bass, like silky smooth guitar thing set up, and I just start making like R&B, like Mandalorians. Start singing.
Can you play guitar?
I can play everything.
Yeah.
I'm one of those guys.
Wow.
So that should be a thing. Like when we do these live streams,
I used to do that with
derail.
So
start playing it in a song.
Dude, this is a true story. Story time at that app. Here we go. When I was working at a place called Mullen, that was a place I used to work for, an advertising agency. It was a fun little place with a bunch of awesome, really creative people. We used to have meetings over the phone, over this thing called Slack, which I'm sure a lot of people have used at their work. It's like this like chat thing. And during one of the meetings, I was at home during a snowstorm because I couldn't get to work. And I had my keyboard just hooked into my computer because I was recording music, and I had my slap bass patch up.
Yes.
So I would we were going around the table or whatever in Slack talking about what the heck we would be doing like for the day and what our milestones were or whatever, just general meetings about getting broadcast work done. And like I'd finished what I was doing, I was like, and people were just like, what? Everybody started like bursting out laughing. I'm like, what do you guys, what's the matter? And they're like, dude, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing. It was like the most ridiculous meeting of all times, dude. Like all of a sudden it just like turned into that for like 50 minutes of us just like telling each other jokes and then me like, or them waiting for like an opportune moment to say something, and then I just start adding slap bass to it. It was like literally the most unproductive day of our lives. So yes, I will do that in a stream if you want me to.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why you aren't multitasking and setting this up as you're telling us.
But with real instruments. I want real instruments.
I know. But yeah, dude, I love playing. I'm a music guy. I love playing everything.
I have my piano, but I'd have to leave the microphone.
No. But I can't sing. I can't sing at all. I sound like a Lothal cat that got stepped on. That's all I have. So
I think that's why it would make a really good band, though.
Wait, Nick can scat like that. That's hilarious. Is that what I was doing? That's hilarious. Last night I was talking about scat with my brother-in-law, and we were saying, sorry that we're derailing everything. I'm doing this to everybody, but trust me,
this totally pertains to the Mandalorian.
It does. It has to do with Korn too, the band,
right?
And I was like, you know what's so funny?
Farmers.
Do you guys remember that band Korn?
Oh
yes.
Yeah.
What was that singer's name? Like Anthony Davis or something, or Jonathan Davis or something?
Jonathan Davis.
Like, and he does.
Don't trust a man with two first names.
Yeah, he does that. Like, I was like talking to my buddy. I was talking to my brother-in-law Tone.
I feel attacked.
I know.
Yeah, I was talking to my buddy Tone, and I was like, "Is he technically doing like scat when he's going dop the ina?" And I'm like, "We're like, yeah, he's doing new metal scat. Interesting." And like, it was the stupidest, funniest conversation that we were having last night, just about scat. It's just funny that Misconduct brought that up. It made me remember.
Oh, for the days.
Anyways, that was my tangent of the night. Back to Mando the Pando.
I want to know. Emrys had the question posed to the group that we never answered.
No.
Well, about the Mandalore. I thought we finished that. If you would be the Mandalore.
It's okay. I think we should just go ahead and roll on.
No, what was the question? We
have to go back. We must.
I forgot. So
crap. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Have you seen the artwork that I think the artist is Solar Sea, where she draws all of the Knights of Ren as a member of Korn? It's beautiful.
Yes. I'd say that's so random, but it totally pertains.
It good. Works. I will send it to you, and we'll post it. But it's a thing of beauty to behold.
What were some other things that I was kind of like worried by in this episode besides like
worried?
Yeah, well, worried? like I guess like the tropey stuff. I was trying to think of other things where I was kind of like, I mean, I guess overall. We were talking about this a little bit offline. Or maybe we talked about this right at the beginning of the stream. To be honest, it's been almost an hour now. That this was the Jurassic Park version.
Yeah,
of an episode.
That was actually you that said that an hour ago. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I was, I'm just like, yes, that's how tired I am, folks. Also, my channel is called the 8 Chat, not the Ad Chat. No, I'm just kidding. Everything's wrong. But yeah, it was just funny and ironic to me that they were like, yeah, Bryce Dallas Howard is just gonna get the T-Rex episode.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah. Just something funny about it.
That's what I was gonna ask. The Jurassic Park reference for some reason jogged my memory, but I was wondering, do you think Kara was the one that led them, or do you think that the Mandalorian was the one that led them? Because it seemed to me like Kara did more of the leadership position.
I would say she was way more in control of that aspect.
She seemed to be more in charge of like the tactical sort of the how you fight, where you fight, that sort of thing. And he was more sort of like saying, okay, I want you to build walls here and here, and we'll funnel them, kind of thing.
Well, that's what I mean too. He doesn't know how to lead. He just like has this tactless demeanor. He's like, y'all gotta leave. And she's like, hold on.
Nice bedside manner. And then she steps in front of him and actually gives them the plan and then teaches them. And that's one of the other reasons why I believe they might end up together is she is the first one to make him laugh. Or am I forgetting something? Because that is the first time I heard.
Yeah. I forget when he laughed. Wait, remind me.
And when they were in the where she went, took his weapon, which is huge because that's the Mandalorian weapon.
Oh yeah, the repulsor rifle or whatever. Yeah,
takes out the ATST, and then he joins her in the med pit, and then they laugh together. And
Yeah,
that's
that was
the
an interesting
camaraderie I
bit.
see between them two, those two as well.
Yeah.
Maybe he's finally also finding like this comes kind of back to Kylo Ren and Rey.
Yeah.
He's finally finding his other half in a very literal sense with this rebellion remnant person. Because what was she again? Like a riot trooper or not? Or what do they call her?
Drop trooper.
Or drop trooper. Yeah,
Drop trooper.
like she was
trooper.
the muscle that went in to like clear the forest out of the of the monkeys.
Well, it's just
in there.
showing the humanity. Like, yes, he had the tribe and his community of Mandalorians, but now the humanity that could have been if he didn't become a foundling.
But then he wouldn't have found Kara.
Well, correct, but I'm saying like
I was kidding.
the camaraderie he has now with Kara, the relationship that developed between him and Omera, and even now Sweet Pea, it's like these are things that if that job to find Sweet Pea had not come along, he would have just been taking other bounties and going about his business and really shut in. But what's so great about seeing these relationships is even the Mandalorian tribe is so, well, it is what it is. It's tribal. This is the way. And they do take care of each other, but that only goes so far. Look, they were ready to freaking kill each other.
I know, that was so intense.
In the smithy, but then at the end they all come and they help, and this is the way, and it is very, brother to brother. But now you have all these other relationships that are starting to build. Like there's more than just the tribe, but what makes a tribe? So it's the same thing as what makes a family.
Yeah. I just want to speak to Thornton Wagner super chat. Thanks so much again, man. Yes, it is finally fun to talk. That's why I love talking with everybody that's in this chat right now. We don't get hung up on all the, like, while we're talking about things that we wish were different in this episode, we're not just bashing everything. We're like talking about what worked and what didn't in a positive way. So really appreciate that sentiment, Thornton, during the stream. Let's keep it positive, which is great, but be critical when necessary. That's the only way you can be. And then talk about horny stuff, which is what we were doing when he looked at her taking a shot at the gun. So yeah, my streams are all over the place.
Ting 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 ting.
Yeah.
Ting ting.
I'm going to say something really silly. Just I don't know why it popped into my head when he took his helmet off to eat. First thing that my stupid brain said, he goes, he knows he's in front of a really big window, like 5 meters away from people that could just look up, right? I was like, yeah, cool.
You just like, you see the opposite angle, you just look back, and it's just a guy without a face. There's just nothing there. People are like, man, what's wrong with him? Just no eyes, no mouth, nothing. It's just skin. It's like, this is now a horror story.
Like, right, they just had this whole discussion about, do you ever take the helmet off, and when's the last time you took the helmet off in front of people, and blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden, big picture window, takes it off.
Yeah,
like, they could look up at any moment and just see you nomming down. Like,
and that's the first time you see his face. He's got like stuff all over. I mean, assume he's got facial hair. Like he gets food in his mustache.
I wonder if,
and he's like shoveling food into his mouth, and that's the first
he's
thing.
He's finally full on fat Pablo Escobar version of the Mandalorian, just like pot belly. He has a big old pot belly now, and he's just like, oh yo guys, I'm fat as F, dude. I can't even fight an ATST. My best car armor doesn't fit.
You guys got this. Kara's got you covered.
Yeah, but I guess
question: is he doing that intent? Like, is that a sign that he actually does kind of want to get found out? Like, is he trying? Is that a self-sabotage thing, or is it too subtle to be interpreted that way?
I thought it was that he finally feels the freedom to not worry about his promise.
Yes,
that's how I took it. Not as a plea to be free of his armor yet. I think he very much identifies with his armor still.
What do you think,
I found it like he was looking at the children then. He wasn't looking at the adults. He was looking at the children, and that's what he just said to Amara is, I haven't I've worn it. I've had this helmet on since I was a child. And then Amara points to the kids going about that age.
Yeah.
So to me, I
What an
felt
interesting
like that was
thing.
a reference to that more than a reference to freedom. Was he still almost developmentally feels connected to those foundlings, and I thought that was almost even so much more meaningful that he's not a Mandalorian. That when those Mandalorians helped him out in that third episode and they said, this is the way, I think what they're saying is his saving all these children, no matter what species they come from, that is the way. To save a child is the way. And I was like, okay, now the Mandalorians are it.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the way. And I have spoken.
Well, yeah, that's interesting because in Misconduct, thank you again for a super chat. How do you think they can stop Sweet Pea's tracking? We'll get to that in 1 second. I'm not sure, but I'm sure you guys probably have an idea. But it's cool to think that the Mandalorians right now, like, most likely did what they did for our Mando, because they're like, he is getting us another foundling to help the clan to grow the Mandalore again. But that's not what he's doing at all. Like he's not really honest with his own clan, which I thought was really interesting. Not in a way that's like evil, I guess. Like he's careful with his wording, I guess is the way I'd put it.
Yeah.
Where he's like, I was helped by my enemy. And the clan leader's like, why would your enemy help you? Well, my enemy did not know it was my enemy. Like, he could have just said, well, this freaking baby Yoda used the Force against a Mudhorn. I was about to die. I didn't know what I was going to do. A baby helped me. Oh, my God, what's happening? Help me, clan leader. Like, he could have just lost his mind right there. But
he didn't know what the Force was. Like, I really loved that part of there where he was like, I have no idea what happened.
I love that stuff. Yeah. Like, the Empire, it proves the Empire was so good at snuffing out that as, like, a legitimate thing. But
I have an interesting take on this.
But the Sweet Pea thing with tracking, do you have a take on that?
I wonder if he's gonna find Dr. Pershing again.
Yeah,
because he didn't kill Dr. Pershing. So I'm wondering if Dr. Pershing will know how to.
You'll have some answers, I think.
Stop the tracking.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know how the fobs work because
DNA.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Tied to the person.
Yeah.
But like, how does that DNA? Is there like? Is there an initial thing where somehow they initially get the DNA of the asset or bounty that goes to the guilds then the information gets downloaded into this database that goes out to the fobs? Like think about
like
how this works.
Bloodhound or a bomb sniffing dog. I mean, it's how dogs track those things. They know the scent.
Yeah,
and then
so it must
follow
be.
it. I feel these tracking devices do the same thing. They had a piece of cloth or they had something to where
midichlorians.
Yeah, midichlorians. They can use that, and then that's how it tracks.
So so the Phantom Sirens. I don't think it's the Force signature. I think it's just what somehow the guild in the Empire in these fobs somehow just like track biological matter or something. Like I just like it'll probably be Star Wars Explained will probably figure it out in like 2 weeks and post about it.
Probably.
Like that kid's a genius. So I'm sure like that's exactly what's gonna happen.
The first bounty that we see him going after, like the blue guy, like he's not a Force user, he's just a guy. So like they've got something. There's a DNA swab. They put the DNA swab into the tracker and they go, okay, let's find this guy. And then they just do a bit of a tracking thing. They go, all right, well, this is the last time we had a good solid read on him.
The other thing too is it is possible there's a fob out for the Mandalorian himself.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, there could be.
Yeah. So like maybe that guy in I'm not sure if that bounty. What is that species again with the long nose? I can't remember what that species is. Because he was like the same species as the guy from episode 1 that's like does the weird whistle. It looked like that at least. Unless I'm wrong. When he's like, the freaking droid comes up. Funniest moment in episode 1 too. Yeah.
Trivia point on that. The guy with the long nose, with the trunk nose, those sounds of his voice in A New Hope were John Wayne.
That's hilarious.
What?
Yep.
Just sped
Look it
up.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
I
did. They
believe
just
you.
did vocal effects. That's John Wayne
That's hilarious.
doing that.
I love John Wayne even more now.
Oh, that brings me back to another thing that I loved about the campiness of this episode, because this episode had top-notch camp too.
It was a very nice looking camp.
Yeah,
I could live there.
very campy. The architecture of the camp
Yep.
was good. Yes,
Yep.
no, but the other camp that I'm talking about. So when those like Clintonians, I can't even say their name normally. Clantonians.
Clantonians.
Yeah. When the Cleons end up raiding the village.
Klingons.
Yeah.
Wrong
I love
Star film.
Yeah, I love when like one of them just goes by the camera and he's like roar.
Yes. So good.
And I'm like and that doesn't make it in like by accident. So like there is a bit of them being like, we know like some younger folks are watching this, and it's like, and that's what made me also remember the Ewok movies, because that's what like those like Gorax dudes, those, or in the second one, like those guys are just so like primitive in their like ideas of what they want, and all they want is the power cell, and they're like you guys remember they take out the power cell in the ship maybe, and he's just like, I have power now, and like that's the whole plot of the Ewok movies. Yeah. And like I'm sure these like beings, I don't think we'll see him again, but they just seem so like they just want to plunder and like take out the village. Like it didn't seem like there was much else going on. Like there's like no real setup between the clan. It was just like straight up camp, you know?
Yeah.
So,
We just want the krill.
Yeah. Give us your
hungry.
fish.
We are hungry for fish.
We're done watching Finding Nemo. And now we need your krill. Well, here's so it's been an hour and 12 minutes. So are there any final thoughts that you guys want to impart on the chat for the episode?
Kimmy Skywalker said, I love
Sanctuary?
John Wayne, and I just want to say I love John Wayne so much that I've been to his birthplace.
Oh.
Did you know my
McClunky.
John Wayne hit on my aunt?
Really?
Oh, I think you told me this.
It's a true story.
That's amazing.
I think you told me this.
My aunt looks a little bit like Natalie Wood. In fact, she does look like a whole lot of like Natalie Wood. And John Wayne gave her his number and said, hey, if you ever want to hang out, here's my number, call me. And she never
Was it just
did,
the number one?
but she kept that card and framed it on her nightstand table. And my
So
Uncle
cool.
John hates it. He's like, why did you put it away? And she goes, I'm not doing that. And he just looks I like
No,
awesome.
that's the
on his toes.
that's
So
the coolest
she
memory.
has it on her nightstand.
That's damn cool.
One of my most favorite movies is The Quiet Man, and I love it's practically a Western set in Ireland. I mean,
It's so good.
it's so good.
Never seen it.
And my homework time. Watch The Quiet Man.
I have to watch like 4 movies, I think. Yeah, there's 3 movies from BBMC I gotta watch that you guys told me
Yep.
about, and then this one.
Yep, The Quiet Man. At the end of this film, there's a moment where Maureen O'Hara, and talk about a friendship, Maureen O'Hara and John Wayne. There's a moment where she, and I'm not really ruining anything, but there's a moment where she whispers in his ear. And there's only 3 people in the world who know what she whispered, and it's John Ford, the director, John Wayne, and Maureen O'Hara. And they all went to their graves not sharing what she whispered to him. I just love that. I love that ending, because everyone wants to know, like, what
I know
the
what you're
heck?
talking about
Like,
now.
What did she say?
They're telling me because I've seen E.T. I've seen part of the movie. So it's that part when like Henry Thomas is reenacting that movie scene. Is that like when they have like the mind link or something in E.T.?
What?
Somebody's saying if I've seen E.T., I've seen.
Oh, in the chat.
Yeah, I've seen this movie, because is that what movie's playing on the TV that E.T.'s watching? Okay.
Oh,
yeah,
it's been forever.
Looks like that's
since I've seen E.T.
Okay, it looks
Ooh,
like,
yes.
Yeah, it looks like that's what it is. Yep, the
Misconduct.
kiss.
Yes, you have to watch Rio Bravo too.
Okay, cool. I have so much to watch. Good thing I'm home all weekend
Flying
doing nothing.
Leathernecks, The Searchers,
Magnificent Seven.
Oh yeah,
True Grit.
yeah. Magnificent Seven, definitely. True Grit, yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
Grit.
And Nick, the Dollars trilogy, and then Once Upon a Time in the West after that. 'Cause
Yes.
they go progressive, like by
Then I'll
age.
never be able to watch The Mandalorian ever again. So I'll be like, this sucks. Everything else was just better when it was just all
No,
these.
it'll make you love it even more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh,
agree.
definitely.
I agree. movie.
Well, guys, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I do got to stop the stream and get going and start doing some dad stuff and put up a Christmas tree. It's Christmas time.
We just got started.
I know, but I just want to say thank you guys so much for hanging out with me again for an hour and what looks like an hour and 15 minutes. We did it. There's no crashing of the stream. I think we might have been informative to people. I hope you guys enjoyed us.
Very informative.
And also,
I would listen back to this.
Yeah.
And be informed.
Honestly, you guys say smarter things than I do. I just come in and start singing and mess up everything and go on tangents. So that's what I bring to the table. Yeah, see, exactly. Matt reins me in, you guys rein me in. But yeah, we'll be doing this again probably, hopefully soon. I want to do like another holiday chat for Christmas, like right around when the movie comes out and everything. So hopefully we can do another.
We talked about that.
Yeah, we definitely need to do the holiday stream.
Yeah, well, we're gonna do a dial-in, obviously we get to watch episode 9 before everyone, and so Sean and I are gonna go and literally the second we walk out of the cinema, we're gonna record and upload straight away, and we're gonna do a non-spoilery reaction thing that will be up, and it'll be like a day before you guys get to see it.
Very cool.
As soon as you have all seen it, we're gonna do a dial-in.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely do that and just get everyone in there.
Well, let me just say thank you again, guys. I do gotta get going. I can hear my wife being like, Nikki, let's put the stuff up. We have things to do. But yeah, peace, love, and Raylo, y'all.
Peace, love, and Raylo.
And keep fighting the good fight on Twitter, because we only know it's gonna get more insane as time goes on.
Oh, it's gonna
get... may the force be with you all. I'm gonna mute our channels now before I burp, and and it's been a great night. It's been a good holiday weekend.
Hey, good night, Nikki.
And good night,
Nicholas.
all you fine people.
Bless everyone.
God bless everybody, especially
Matt,
Baby
do your
Yoda.
Butler impression.
And
Good night,
we are
everybody.
the at scat. Amen.